Dispatchers help callers on the worst days of their lives. For over 25 years, we've been there. A silent partner in millions of calls thanks to our redundant and diverse networks that ensure call delivery. Today, cities are bigger, traffic more congested, and the challenge is more complex. But you're never alone, because InDigital is quietly improving, implementing, and driving the next generation of 911, so you're supported in every situation. Make the switch at indigital.net.
My job is all about purpose.
Just the ability to make a difference, to help someone be able to go home at the end of the day.
My great-grandfather started the volunteer fire department in Springfield, Nebraska. My grandmother was a nurse. My uncle was a fire chief in Atlanta, Georgia. So somewhere down the line, it was my purpose to be doing this.
Yeah, we're a family here.
The data we get from Rapid SOS is life-saving.
Have you ever met a 911 professional and asked, what's the worst call you've ever taken? Well, here's your answer. I heard your last breath the night you flipped your four-wheeler. I tried to call you the day you committed suicide by driving your car into a tree. Blue face, cold to the touch. I helped you with CPR after you found your infant face down, not breathing. It messed me up. I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough. You were with me from the beginning, Grandma. 27 years later, I took the 911 call when you died. How fitting to be there for me in the beginning, and I was there for you in the end. I miss you, Grandma. I am 911. This is but a glimpse into the world of emergency dispatch. But what is it really like to answer a call during someone's nightmare? What is the impact of the first responder answering the call? Available on Amazon or where you purchase your favorite books and ebooks. Imagine listening. Your worst day is our everyday.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
And a good friend of mine out of out of Seattle, there is a phone call that I have, and it's from years and years ago, but there's a lady who gets locked into her car. She's inside the car, she's locked in, and she goes, I can't get out. The battery died and everything, and I can't get out. And my buddy my buddy goes, well, ma'am, did you try just pushing the lock yourself? And she goes, oh my God, I didn't even think of that. She goes, how did you know that? And his response, immediately his response is, well, I am a 911 dispatcher. And she goes, yeah, that was great. Thank you so much.
That's the best response.
Welcome to Within the Trenches, true stories from the 911 dispatchers who live them.
Hey, what's going on? This is a bonus episode for Within the Trenches podcast. I'm here with my good friend Anthony, and we are at Cass County 911 in Michigan, and we're just going to be doing some funny questions. This is meant to be funny, okay? These are funny questions to ask a 911 dispatcher, 911 professional, call taker, all of the above. So I've got some questions here, and I decided to ask ChatGPT just to see what this AI would say to be, for some of the questions to ask that would be funny. And there are some of them on here that I was not expecting. I mean, we were talking about some of these right off the bat. So let's see what your answers are for this. So number 10, and I'm saying the numbers, I'm not going to read all of them, but this 10th one that's on here, it says, if sarcasm was allowed in 911 calls, what would be the first thing you'd say? And of course, this is hypothetical. These are just funny questions. And just to give you an example, because I was thinking about this one already when I mentioned it earlier, But something I always wanted to say to callers, especially during hunting season. I remember taking a phone call, and I had partners who had taken the same type of phone call, but someone would call and say, so there's a guy who's walking on the side of the road. He seems to be okay. However, he's dressed in camouflage and he's carrying a rifle with him. I just thought maybe you guys needed to know, maybe an officer needs to go check the area. And immediately, if this was allowed, I would want to ask, how can you see them? If they're if they're dressed in camouflage, like, how did you see them to begin with? Do you just see the rifle floating? Like, now, of course, we can't ask that, right? We can't say it, but that was something, like, in the back of my mind, I always chuckled because I would think, well, how do you see them? Like, I can only imagine that it's just a rifle that's just floating in the air.
I think, I think it would just, you learn quickly that common sense isn't as common as you would think it is.
This is true.
And so, there's so many times where somebody calls in and I want to just say, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Maybe not what you're looking for here, but like that's what I want to say to people. Like you're kidding. In their head, it is what it is. But from an outsider's perspective, and sometimes it's great because you can get that way. Passive aggressive, you get there, but sometimes you can hear the light bulb turn on when you kind of question them. Like, did you really just say that?
Right. So there's this call that I remember hearing someone play once where a lady calls and she says, can you, like, I'm not in a, real danger, but can you have someone come out to my house to help me get into my house? Because I locked myself out. And, dispatcher's like, okay, address, getting all the information. Where should they, meet you? And the person goes, well, the garage door is open. So if they go into the garage, the door is open and they can just get inside that way. And the person pauses for a moment and goes, you know what? Never mind. I don't need the officer to come out. Because like you said, the light bulb turns on. It's like, wait, I could do the same thing. And and then they go in. And a good friend of mine out of out of Seattle, there is a phone call that I have, and it's from years and years ago. But there's a lady who gets locked into her car. She's inside the car. She's locked in, and she goes, "I can't get out. The battery died and everything, and I can't get out." And my buddy, my buddy goes, "Well, ma'am, did you try just pushing the lock yourself?" And she goes, "Oh my God, I didn't even think of that." She goes, "How did you know that?" And his response, like immediately his response is, "Well, I am a 911 dispatcher." And she goes, "Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much."
That's the best response.
So, it's stuff like that. It's stuff like that happens.
It is.
And it happens.
And it happens so frequently.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were talking before in the episode that we did where, you end up finding out that not every 911 call is an emergency. And I think that's one of the misconceptions as well. If you're not in it, you don't know. But yeah, right. The majority of the calls that come in.
Well, people just automatically default to 911. I don't know what to do, so.
But a lot of times too, in the same, but on the other side, like that's their emergency, right?
Absolutely.
It's still an emergency.
Absolutely.
And that's why we have to treat every single thing as like priority one until we figure all that stuff out, because that's that person's emergency.
Sure.
It's but it's funny, like some of this stuff. So let's see. There is so I asked you this one before. If dispatchers had a theme song every time they put on the headset, what would yours be?
I thought about this, And I want something that's upbeat, and our typical uniform shirts are, these. So I was thinking, I don't know, AC/DC Back in Black.
Oh, yeah. Hell yes. That's what I'm talking about. So you would put it on and it would just kick in, or would the song kick in right at Back in Black?
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for the
Right.
right.
Well, that's as you walk in the door, right?
Well, that could be,
Yeah.
right? As you're walking in the door, and then yes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're sitting there and you're listening to the tick tick, that could add some anxiety, man. We were talking about noises, right? That you might hear.
Right.
It's just like that would trip me out. I love roller coasters, but I hate the tick,
The
tick,
clicking
tick,
up,
the clicking going up. And it's like, just get there already. Just let me drop. So I almost feel like
all
the
that
beginning of that.
anticipation.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. The beginning of that song, if you're sitting there and you put the headset on and it's ticking, you're like, what's going to come in? Now, I had mentioned that my song would be Blind from Korn, because he yells right in the beginning, are you ready? After the t-t-t-t. But what if it was also Down with the Sickness?
Absolutely.
You put on the headset, and right when you put on the headset, it's ooh, wah, wa-na-na-na-na. That would be a good way to jump in as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great tone setter.
When I lived about 45 minutes from dispatch, so I had a playlist, and it was all rock songs like that, leading into going into dispatch to like pump me up. And I was like, yes, like let's do this. Sometimes it would be Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, but just because I'm getting pumped up for it. Not that I was having a bad day, but because it's a harder song, and you're like, yeah, let's do this.
It just gets you into a mood.
Yes. I like it. Back in Black. That's a good one there. Let's see. So this one says, on break, do you still answer your friends' phone calls like 911, where's your emergency?
No, I don't think I've ever
Not even
done
during like
that.
training? I think when I was in training, I answered a phone call from someone, and I had been working so much in training that I answered it. Allegan 911, where's your emergency? And a friend, or maybe it was a cousin, I don't know, but they were like, what? And I was like, I am sorry. I've been working a lot lately. It happened once, I would say.
I can't say that it never happened, because now that I think about that, I feel like there may have been a time where that actually did happen. I can't remember for sure.
You ever tell someone you love them on the phone?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, dude. I was, yep.
And the most inappropriate time always, right? Just so random, and and like you can't stop yourself because it's such a short phrase.
Right.
It just
I was sitting next to one of my partners, and I'm listening to her talk to a caller, and she goes to hang up. She goes, okay, I love you, bye. And she hangs up, and her eyes pop open. And I turned and I looked at her, and I said, did you just tell the caller that you love him? And she's like, yes. I was like, that's one of my fears, is that I'm going to get off the phone with someone and I'm going to say that. And I said, but you just did it. So well done. But it happens. It happens. Let's see. This one says, what's the official 911 snack? Because I feel every dispatcher has one in the drawer. What do you think?
ooh. Like for me, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like those peanut butter crackers.
Which ones? Oh, just like a Keebler's?
Yeah. Like just a little, they're easy. You tuck them away, just
Yep,
have
regular crackers with peanut butter, or they have the cheese crackers with peanut
Yeah,
butter. Yeah,
yeah.
one of those. That's a good one.
Yeah.
They're readily available. You don't have to get up to go to the microwave to pop your popcorn.
Right.
And then, depending on if there's calls coming in, you got to run back, and your popcorn's all dead.
Yeah. I just think, just something quick, easy to snag up.
I like that one. That's a good one. Let's see. Oh, I asked you this one before. I'll see what you got this time. If dispatchers had trading cards, what would your power stats be?
I don't know much about this.
Let's just say your abilities. What would your list of abilities be on there? Because if you think about even baseball cards, football
Sure.
cards back in the day,
Sure.
they would show like their stats and stuff. But if you had some, like, what would you have on there?
Would have to be like a word wizard, right?
Nice, yeah.
Um,
You'd have to have a quote.
yeah.
And you'd, yeah, part
Yeah.
of the stats would be, I like that word wizard.
Gosh. I am so drawing a blank right now.
Well, I do like that. I do like that you would have on there listed as being a word wizard.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be. You have to be able to talk to people.
I like it. I think that would be part of your name as well. Like on the front of your card, it would be like you sitting like this or
Yeah.
something. You know,
Yeah.
It would say Anthony quote word wizard,
Yeah.
or the word wizard,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
your last name. and it would have to be, it would either a pose like this, or it would have to be the pose that everyone has in a picture to show that they're like what's up? It's the arms crossed.
Yeah,
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 dude. Show off the ink and everything.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that would be that. That would be those cards. Let me see here. This one is kind of a weird one. Is there a premium membership where I don't get put on hold during full moons? That's why I was like, what? What are some of these that are coming out of here? Like, or this other one says, if I Google my symptoms but still call you, do I lose adult points?
Nobody should ever Google their symptoms because it doesn't matter. You put that stuff in WebMD and everybody's dying.
Right, you're losing an arm or a leg. Yeah, for sure.
And you get those calls. That happens.
This is
I
true.
looked it up on WebMD. It says that I may die, so I need to go to the hospital. It's like,
But also for us who have emergency medical dispatch certifications, I still EMD myself sometimes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Which is almost as bad as WebMD.
Yep, absolutely. No, I do that. But yeah, I'd like, sometimes you just like, sir, it's 3 a.m.
Last question. If you could design any dispatch chair for yourself, what would it have on there? Now we're talking cup holder,
That's the
warmer,
first thing that came to mind. That was the
AC.
second. See, like we are so on the same page here. It needs to have a cup holder, but it needs to have a footrest.
Oh, okay.
It needs to have a footrest. Yeah, a little bit of massaging maybe going on.
All right.
I mean, if you're sitting in it for 12 hours, you might as well be comfortable.
This is true. Right. And I like the heated seat,
Yeah.
the bottom and back, especially if you got lower back pain.
Absolutely.
That lumbar
The lumbar
piece,
support,
Yes.
yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The AC, book holder,
Yeah, I
Or
definitely
something if you're
have.
reading.
There's a couple dispatchers here who would love that. Something just to hold the book out there with a little light over top of it would be perfect.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? I don't know why, but I'm picturing in my head, there's an old Simpsons episode where Homer meets this brother that he didn't know that he had. And this brother makes cars in Detroit. And he's like, Homer, I want you to design the car for the everyday man. And then when it does, they reveal it, and it's like this junky ass car, and he's like, woohoo! And he hits the horn. It's like da 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 da, and like the whole car company ends up going bankrupt because of it. But just him like on the pedestal going around. I don't know why it popped in my head, but I can see like a dispatcher, a call taker in their perfect chair that they just created, and they're like, yeah, like check it out.
You see all these things, and they're like, made for dispatchers, designed by dispatchers. It's like, which dispatchers did you bring in to design this?
True.
Because I got better ideas.
Yeah, it's like that shit is uncomfortable. Yeah. Like, that doesn't
I mean, don't
work.
get me wrong. What we have now is really nice compared to what we had when I started.
Yeah.
At least these, are a material that can be cleaned and wiped and, whatever, and not just fabric and, I won't get into that, but know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I like the thought of sitting at your console, waiting for a call to come in, and you can just hit a button and it's like, ring, ring.
Yeah.
It's like feeding you your snacks.
Right. Right.
Oh, man. Well, this has been fun. I just wanted to go through some of these funnier questions to see, what your thoughts were. And let's see, I thought there was like a bonus thing on here, but I think that's it. We'll go with that. We had some good ones, so that'll be good right there.
Imagine listening to someone's worst day every single day. Imagine listening as someone experiences life, through their worst nightmare to the miracle of birth or a life saved. I'm Ricardo Martinez, a former 911 dispatcher, and for years I've been recording the voices of a hidden world, ours. I've provided a space for 911 dispatchers to share their powerful stories. It started as a peer support session and continues. Dispatchers sitting together, sharing out loud, or writing down what they couldn't say. Some stories will grip you. Stories of heartbreak, resilience, and calls that haunt us long after the line goes quiet. But imagine listening is more than heavy emotion. It's about healing. It's about laughing through the chaos, lifting each other up, and reminding the world that dispatchers are human too. The lighthearted will balance the heavy. Experience the power of storytelling, a podcast for the thin gold line and those who want to understand it. This is Imagine Listening. Your worst day is our everyday. Subscribe now wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.